Hey, I'm Rebecca, and today I want to talk to you about demystifying women's geometry and women's bike frames. A lot of people ask me, why don't you ride a women's specific bike? Or do you want a women's specific bike? And I want to talk to you today about why I don't believe in women's specific bike frames. That's hard to say, women's specific bike frames. I'm super excited about the increased amount of women that I see out on the trails and out riding. I think it's amazing. And we've seen the industry respond with the experimentation of women's specific bike frames, and now the realization that we aren't all that different. And regardless of your gender, it's more about your riding style, your height, your torso length, your leg length, and those are things that are not gender specific. So I'm gonna challenge you. Imagine we have a gorilla, a big gorilla, and we have a T-Rex dinosaur, little teeny weeny short arms. They're both 5'7". They're really small gorilla and dinosaur. And what size frame are they gonna ride? Are they gonna ride the same size frame? Probably not. The little T-Rex isn't going to be able to reach the handlebars on a medium frame or a small frame, whereas the gorilla is. And so that's the reason I don't believe in women's specific geometry, is because we're all built totally differently. And I don't know if the T-Rex and the gorilla were male or female, it doesn't really matter. And that's the whole point, is to get a bike that fits your measurements, and it doesn't matter the color of your hair, your gender, the color of the bike, it fits you as a rider, and that's the most important thing. There's some other points in women's specific fit that you hear sort of in the marketing material. Suspension being tuned lighter for a lighter weight person. Those are all things, changing your suspension for your body weight, those are things that any mountain biker should be able to do. And I also know riders, male riders, who are lighter than me, and I know female riders who are heavier than me. So I don't really buy into that theory, just because suspension is something that can be tuned personally for you based on your body weight and your riding style. There's also a lot, the placement of your saddle is super important in bike fit, whether it's fore, aft, tilted up, tilted down, and that has a lot to do with your flexibility, not necessarily the shape of your hips or what gender you are. It has to do with your hamstring tightness, how your hips move, how much you can lean over or want to lean over, and those are all accommodations that you make yourself based on what feels good to you. I do believe in women's specific items for things that are very body specific. For example, clothing. Another thing I really believe in for women specific or gender specific is saddle, and that's something where we are put together totally differently, and the way that this saddle is going to fit the shape of my body is different than how it's going to fit my husband, for example. What Niner's doing that's kind of exciting for me, I appreciate the fact that they've never gone to a women's specific frame. Niner has never made a pink bike, and they believe in size, not gender. And so they've always had extra small to extra large. They've always had a really wide range of fit. One of the most important measurements in fitting a bike is the top tube length, and in some of the sort of marketing materials or women's specific frames that are out there, that's one of the things they sort of claim that's really important in a women's fit, is a shorter top tube length. I happen to have a long torso, so if that doesn't work for me. And so really what I try to encourage people to look for is, regardless of the color of the bike or what the model says or who it's supposed to be built for, if it fits your body, then that bike is right for you.